No, that's why. Stupid.
I can hear that, Darren.
No, I know.
Hi,
I didn't
everyone.
press
This is
mute.
Georgette from the Law Office of Vincent Davis. I am co-hosting today for Davis alongside with Darren. And he had an emergency, so unfortunately he is unable to make it. Brittany is on the air, and she had questions for Attorney Davis. And but right now, Brittany, I'm so sorry, but as you heard from the producer, he did
Yeah.
have an emergency.
No, I
But
understand.
like she said, you can be on the show tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Okay, Pacific Standard Time, that is.
Okay.
But right now, if you can just share with us your story,
Okay.
and so we can understand a little bit of what's going
Okay.
on.
So I'm gonna kind of go to the beginning, and then I'm gonna kind of jump a little.
Okay.
So 6 years ago, my kids were removed from me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a very horrible situation. By the end of it, my son's father got permanent conservatorship from CPS. That's what they had given him. And I was under the understanding that it was permanent. We're going to skip
Hmm.
forward to now. I have recently found out that it had to be renewed every year. It has not been renewed, not once. So therefore, I have recently petitioned for custody of my children. In the middle of petitioning for custody of my children, my teenager is going through some narcissistic abuse from where CPS placed him with his father and his stepmother.
Okay.
So my son has been in and out of mental places and in PHP programs for the past 3 months. Since his father has now realized that I have rights, he's panicked and he let my son come with me. So um, I've had my son since the 16th. My son is in outpatient treatment. Outpatient treatment is telling me that I need to keep my son. His father is a trigger. I now know that nobody has custody because nothing was renewed. And I'm kind of wondering, when he comes to get my son, what do I do? Because I'm not letting him go back. I can't let it happen. And have you guys ever heard of that type of thing where they have to get it renewed because they have a child that's not his? He has both of my sons, and only one of them is his.
And okay, so I've never heard of the renewal part.
Okay.
Um, it's very new to me, but that could be something in Texas. But then again, I speak to a lot of people from Texas because,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of women from Texas, and they've never said that. We also had a couple of people that their exes have custody of their children who don't belong to them.
Yes, that's what it is. He has
Yeah,
one of his kids that is not one of my kids that doesn't belong to him, but he
right.
didn't let me have that one. He let me have the one that is mutual between me and him. And my son is 14 and he's refusing to go back. I have the hospitals telling me all this stuff, and they're almost telling me that I should probably call CPS because they'd be on my side, but I don't want to do that, and I don't know what to do.
Do that ever.
Please do not ever call the
Right.
police. Yes. That's
Like
like you opening a
he had a
Pandora's
CPS
box on
case
you.
for abusing
Uh-huh.
him, and they're now justifying the abuse as restraint.
What was the word that she used? What was it? That they took your son. What was that word that you said that you had to renew? What were they
I can't say it right. Entrepreneurship. I can't say it right.
You
entrepreneurship?
Hmm. And when I went to court with CPS, I never went inside a courtroom. I never seen a judge. They came out in there. They made me sign stuff. So while I've been trying to file for a modification, it took me filing 6 different times for the courts to tell me there is no custody. There is no custody. You can't modify it. There's nothing to modify.
I'm confused. What
Yeah,
did they
so it
make you
is.
sign?
Right.
They say it's through the juvenile Kimbo courts in Tarrant County, and it's like an agreement that I signed, but they have to go back and get it like reinstated if they want to keep the kids. Like, it's not permanent. I'm really confused
Was
on it
not
as well.
permanent. Was not.
The custody that he got of the kids is not permanent, and it's not even
It
permanent
has to
custody.
be conservatorship. It can't.
Yes,
I think that's what it.
yes,
That's the only thing I can come up with. But
yes. But you have to go, and I've had a CPS caseworker tell me this, and that's how I found out, is
right.
because I know somebody personally that used to work in the CPS got out of there, and they were the ones that let me know, like, the reason you can't file a modification is because there's no case to modify. There
Oh
wasn't an
my,
actual custody case.
oh my God, I've never heard such a thing. I'm
It's
being honest with you.
insane. Like, it's insane. When I can talk to you off here and I can show you my paperwork, everything I've been filing, this
Right,
is insane.
right.
So what started? What started all of this?
Okay, so I was living in Las Vegas and in California. I was going back and forth, and I decided to come back to Texas. And the man I was dating for 12 years had assaulted me, and automatically they called CPS, and I failed for marijuana.
But
And
So
marijuana is
I was a
legal.
foster child, so I don't have any family support because I was a foster child, so I don't have no family.
Okay, so they're
so he,
attacking
he
you because you're a foster child. You were
Yeah,
a foster child. There's,
and he abused you.
but
who?
marijuana is
Yeah,
legal.
yeah, he abused me, and I dealt with the abuse for like 12 years. Like
So this
serious
is every
abuse,
one of the
similar
things
to
that we
sex
talk about, Miss B.
trafficking, like some serious abuse. And
Right.
the first time I stood up to him and I was like, I'm
Mhm.
done, they came for my kids. It ruined
And
my
then
life.
we talk about
Sometimes I'm like, maybe
everything.
I should have just kept going through it.
But
Wow.
wait, I'm confused, Brittany, because okay, marijuana is legal.
No,
So
it's not in Texas. No, 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 no.
okay, then somebody told me in Texas marijuana is legal.
No, they have CBD, Delta 8, stuff like that, but they just recently started doing that. It is not
But why
legal.
did they have you drug test? This wasn't even about drugs. There was no
Yeah.
reason for them to drug test you.
I don't know. They called me and told me they want to talk to me about what happened, told me I wasn't in trouble. I stupidly went into the office. They asked me for a drug test. I did it. I didn't have nothing to hide. I wasn't thinking I'm in Texas. I was so used to being out
Right.
there. I just wasn't thinking.
No lawyer. Did
No
whatever they said.
lawyer.
We'll take,
No.
just go. Right.
I did all the parenting classes, but my caseworker got fired. Things got lost. Things didn't get submitted.
Yeah.
It was a really horrible case.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are 5 years later, and I'm finding out that their paperwork isn't even legit.
No, it's not.
So I filed for custody. Now I've got my 14-year-old son who's been being narcissistically abused. It's very bad.
But okay,
Thankfully.
let me advise you with something. In order for you to speak of that narcissist word, right?
Mhm.
You have to request a 730, a psych
Okay.
evaluation. Okay, in
At
California,
7:30.
we call it a 730 evaluation, where the father and the mother, they go to a psych specialist.
Oh, I've done one.
Yeah, I've
I
done
did.
one.
I did one.
I've done two,
Yeah.
and they, I can't say it, but the other one
Hmm.
was the one that the psych said is the other, that what you
Yeah.
just said. I
Yeah.
can't say.
So for that
But
word, he's a self-diagnosed and proud. So that's
he's self-diagnosed and proud.
very proud of that. Yes.
There, no, narcissistic men are very, they, anything you do, even
Hmm.
facial expression,
Hmm.
gives them power.
Yeah.
Meaning,
So yeah, and
if you
he's been
smile,
having power over
right,
me for all these years with my kids. So
right.
was dealing with narcissistic abuse from. I had to get into therapy over it to even be able to deal with him, to even be able to get where I'm at.
But was he evaluated as such?
Of course not.
Okay.
Not through CPS.
But CPS, no, no, CPS are dumb. Oh my God,
No,
they're
I'm
so
saying through
dumb.
no, CPS didn't require him to do any of that. All they did is, okay, you have money, you have a good house, here you go.
But that's all they want. They
Yeah,
always give the children to the abuser. I
yeah,
said this 100 million times. They give
yes,
the children to the abuser because that's what they want. They want the
yes.
children to be abused. This entities. These entities are not normal. They're not normal entities. They're not. They're just literally on earth to destroy families. There's nothing protective about them whatsoever. The only thing they protect is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the judges protect them, and the court appointed attorneys protect them. Teachers
It's
protect
such a
them.
dark
The
road.
police department protects them.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is now,
Hmm.
how do I protect my son now? I've
See,
got him
that's,
in my custody. I filed for custody. I've done all this stuff. I have him in my custody. I have him in therapy. But like when he's done with this program he's in, his father's gonna want to come get him.
but his dad now Does he still have rights to see him right now?
Yeah, he just let me have him before court.
Oh no, that's a setup.
It is?
Yeah, that's a setup.
What is he setting me up for?
If he let you have him and it's not court ordered,
Nothing's
he's
court ordered.
it is no, but is he letting you have him on his days?
No, I have never had my son for the past 7 years until the 16th of this month. He gave him to me because my son is going through all these mental things, and
He gave him to you without a court notification.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I meant to say. It's a setup. I understand what you're saying because we have cases like that. And then they call and say that you kidnapped him.
So right here it says.
Well, no, because listen, no, they're not going to do that, because when we took my son to the hospital to get evaluated to get in the program, they know that they didn't do that. They know that he's here with me right now because his father is a trigger and my son is violent, and I am the only person that my son will listen to. According to them, my son is violent, but according to the program and hospital he's in, they're not seeing anything that they have said. My son is not violent. He is not hostile. Nothing that they've said have they seen since he's been in this psych program.
So right here, this is from their Texas law. It says, without a court order, there is nothing for a judge to enforce. Each parent is free to take the child at any time.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not a.
I'm trying to send you the link right now, Ms. G.
But you said you have a court order or don't have a court order? Before?
No, the court order was supposed to be reinstated every 365 days that he got, but I just filed on the 23rd for custody because there's no custody order, so I filed for it. We don't have a custody agreement. They got some paperwork from CPS. That's it.
And what did CPS do? Did they TPR
I know,
you?
that's what
Did they do anything? What did they get involved
for?
What
is TPR?
Terminate your parental rights?
Oh no, I still have rights. I still I'm supposed to be able to have visitation with them, be involved in sports, school, medical.
And why did you mention
can't leave.
TPR, Brittany?
Huh?
Why did you mention to Darren TPR?
TPR.
I asked her. She asked me what it was.
Yeah.
I'd asked her if she was TPR'd or what. Like, I'm not sure where CPS came in. They investigated you.
Right.
Did they leave is your investigation still open with them?
Oh no, my investigation closed.
So then now you're just fighting custody for your for your kids from your husband or your ex-husband. Or
my son's father. Now they just recently had a CPS case for child abuse because of what my son is going through, but they justified it as restraining.
As far as
apparently you can zip tie your kids in Texas.
Right. So, but as far as you're concerned, you can walk into that courtroom and they're going to say you have no hangups with CPS whatsoever right now.
Yes, sir, because they came back 6 years ago and tried to get my other son, and I fought them, and I have all my letters with state stamp that I have been deemed fit. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't. So in Texas, it's okay to tie up your kids?
If you feel like your kid is being violent and you get them labeled with mental health issues, let's say you hit your kid and your kid fights you back, you can restrain your child. Yes.
Right,
your son was reacting towards
the
fact that he was being abused.
Yes,
your son doesn't have mental health issues. The system has mental health issues.
Yes, ma'am, and that's what I've been in the process of proving.
Never mind. I was going to say something. The whole government entity has mental health issues. Okay, the whole entities of this government has mental health issues, and I mean, Darren, I don't know what you want to say to her because I honestly, I've never heard of such a case.
Well, I'm just reading this stuff. It's kind of weird. So there's 3 different type of conservatorships that they have. They have the joint one. And then, hold on, I just lost it. I'm trying to send it to you. I'm reading this whole thing. So they have. Yeah, so they have a joint managing conservator. They have a sole managing conservator. And then they have a possessory conservator.
That's what he has, is possessory conservator.
So that is, possession order will say when each parent has the right to time with child.
So it's a court order.
It's at his discretion, though. I don't have a mapped out visitation. It's at his discretion.
Okay.
I don't even know if we use that here. what you have, Brittany. I honest to God never heard of that before.
That's why I've been trying to seek help and knowledge, because I don't, it's very confusing even for me. And a lot of people out here, I mean, people are confused by, I've talked to, attorneys and all kinds of things. And of course, they want a lot of money, just trying to get, some, I guess, some clarity on what happened, like what.
Mhm.
And then once I just kept trying over and over and over to file, and I found out the reason it wasn't going through is because there was no order. There was no custody order. You have to have a case to modify.
So you have to open a case so you
Yep.
can have a case to modify. So basically,
So I opened it. I filed. Court judge.
what paperwork did you file though, Brittany?
I filed for custody.
And
Petition to affect child-parent relationship, which is custody in Texas.
And your son is old enough to testify, but the thing is, he's the fake dad. He's going to make sure that the court is aware, or is going to make it look like the child has mental health issues. So that
yes,
way,
ma'am. And I've spoken to the hospital, and I will get them subpoenaed to court as well. They can go. They said they're more than willing. They're actually trying to look right now and trying to figure out how to help me about how to keep him.
Okay, good. Now the hospital is willing to go and testify?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Make sure that they're willing to do that without you paying them, because
Okay.
I was told that to subpoena, sometimes they charge you.
They do, but in Texas, when it's situations like this, they have a waiver of service, inability to pay. And so for something like that, I would be able to do that.
No. This is a different thing. Even if you have a fee waiver, right?
Yeah.
Even if you have a fee waiver, the fee waiver is for filing
Uh-huh.
your documents. You don't
Yeah.
pay for filing.
Yeah.
That's what the fee waiver is. The fee waiver is not linked to subpoenas.
Okay. Well, okay.
This subpoena, like for example, if I'm a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was. Now, if I was a doctor, and then you say, Miss G, can you come and testify on what you know, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, okay, well, I usually charge for that $500. Example. If it's a monitor for your case, they charge also. They charge you. A monitor will charge you for everything. I'm sorry?
I don't want to say the name, but it's one of the biggest places in Texas. And I think they actually go do this a lot, where they subpoena and do that with children. I don't want to say.
Yeah, well, you have to pay the sheriff to deliver the subpoena, right? Isn't that part of that? You got to pay the sheriff.
But I did get a waiver of service in order to do to subpoena to, I guess there's subpoenas to go to court for the other party. I got a waiver of service for that as well. So I don't know. I might not be able to. I don't know. But I've had other waivers of service. So if I do have to pay them, I'm going to have to figure it out, because these are the only people that have actually really seen what's going on.
Can she see our chat? Can she see the private chat?
Let's see.
If she's on her phone, it's gonna disconnect her.
Right. I just put up a website up here for you to look at. It's pretty in depth about all the child custody and conservatorship things in Texas. It breaks down how
I'm gonna share it on the page right now for everybody. Okay. So Texas.
It breaks down the forms, what forms you need to, what kind of. It's pretty in depth. I was just reading it, so seems like everything you're looking for is going to be right here.
Yeah, but what she needs is an attorney. That's what she needs.
Oh, of course, but the answers to these questions she's asking, are here.
Yeah, which is good. But again,
in Texas, everybody's afraid of CPS. The attorneys really don't even want to go against CPS out here.
But why is CPS involved though? What is, because you're
because out of there's a report of
they're abuse. Not now. They're nowhere around now.
But they will be.
That's what you're saying.
If there is an abuse report or anything happens to a minor, CPS is automatically involved.
Okay, I see.
You know, but they already left. They came and left already.
That doesn't mean anything.
They just were here like a month ago for them.
But they're gonna come back. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Because they make money from your son, especially if they're saying that he's mentally whatever. That's more money for the pharmaceutical companies, more money for the social, for the county, for the state.
All I can say is that I guess if they're coming, because it's not going down the way it went down last time. I'm fighting. There's absolutely no reason. And I am not. I've been through a lot of therapy. I've been in a lot of parent classes. I got a great support system, and it's not happening.
No,
Not
good.
this time. I will
This
do
is
whatever I got to do to save my son.
Mm-hmm. And about
did
the other
you
kids? Well, sorry. Go ahead, Miss G.
did you try the there's a free legal counsel in Texas court.
Legal aid.
um is that the legal aid? Is that where the retired or retired attorneys offer services?
Oh no, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah. So they have retired attorneys that offer services, meaning they're not going to represent you in court,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going to guide you on what you need
Okay.
to do. But I've also heard that they're there to help the county.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
what I heard. But I don't know if you're a praying woman, pray about it. Ask God to lead you. Um, you never know, because God can make your own enemy your footstool. You know,
True.
He has the power to do that, but you just have to ask Him. And you just don't know. I say give it a chance. Ask the information area window in the courthouse on the first level, the first floor,
Mm-hmm.
and see where they lead you.
Yeah.
Legal aid will not help you.
Yeah.
That
TexasLawHelp.org. I don't. That's the thing.
That's
They're pretty.
actually where I got TexasLawHelp.org is where I got the paperwork that I got off to file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already shared the link, by the way.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything like I've been searching here just for attorneys, and everything goes right back to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, Darren, as we know, attorneys don't want to fight CPS
Right.
because the only reason for that is because they want to be judges one day, especially the young ones. So
Mhm.
when they go against the state and county, guess what? Nobody's going to support them, right?
Right.
Sure.
And those people are the caseworkers. You know what I mean? That step in to get their next step to the AAGs. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what we're finding.
it doesn't matter where. Yeah. So it doesn't matter where in the United States, even in Canada, Hawaii, and
Yep.
United Kingdom. And for the love of God, I heard something about the United Kingdom is connected with the bar.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
I
that.
think Darren was trying to explain that to me a couple of times, and I still don't get it. But it's alarming. It's alarming how we are. We're how
What's alarming is that there's so much chaos and craziness going around all of this stuff that should be in nature. The Bible says, look to the animals. Don't go from the book. Look to the animals. The animals will give you your answer. The animals don't let people mess with their young, period. So like all of us that are not standing up against CPS, all of us that are not trying to fight against them, like we're going against everything. I mean, really, we are, like it's very simple. Don't mess with the children. And we're just letting these CPS. I mean, look at Georgette's been in this for how long? And
a
it's
long
still
time.
quite, you still are baffled by how much these people get away with or why they're doing. And this stuff doesn't even make sense to you how they can get away with it or why they can, but they do over and over and over. Like it just, how can they come to your house? You're getting abused by your ex, and finally I get some relief, and then you're in a meeting 2 minutes later, and they're drug testing you and taking your kid.
But
Like this is what? Wait a minute, how did this just happen?
but
And
Darren, you
that's
know
what's
that they
happening to
attack.
all of these people around this
That's
country.
what they do in Texas. If you ever call about domestic violence and you're getting abused, the first thing they do is try to act like it's drugs or whatever it is. That's the first thing they do is drug test you,
Yeah.
Of
even if there's
course,
no drugs in sight.
it's an easy way for them to solidify what they're doing. It's very easy. I was just watching this thing the other night, and it was a great documentary. It's The Fix Is In, is what it's called. And Samuel Jackson is actually doing the commentary on it. And he's put down this stat, and this stat came from the United Nations. 92% of the people that use drugs in this country neither need it for necessity, they're functioning drug addicts, or they're just good at using drugs. The other 8% are the people that cause problems. Now they're going after every person like you that smoked pot. You get it down for a weekend, wind down, have a joint here or there. They're coming at you, but they're treating you like you were selling crack on the side of the street. You smoked pot once. Like let's get you. Your kids are gone.
But yeah, you can drink and drive and be a mental basket case and still keep your kids. It's like
right.
it's
Well,
crazy.
that's legal. That's
let me just say something real quick. One of our clients' ex-husband is a firefighter, and he actually has arson and theft on his record, and CPS still gave him the children after he beat his wife when she was 5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So, and the police never arrested him, and arson and theft on his record.
Because it was somehow her fault that he was beating her, huh? It was something that was her fault.
According to his mother, who's an attorney, and his aunt is a supervisor for the Department of Children and Family Services.
Oh.
They said that the mother provoked him to beat her. Yeah. Yeah. So they don't look at, there is no justice, like Davis said.
Yeah.
There is no justice because the mother is going to be blamed no matter what.
Yep.
No matter what. And even if they have proof of reports, if they have this, if they have like no records on the mother doesn't do anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so the abuser will always gain the kids. Now, if there's a domestic violence, not a domestic violence, I'm sorry. If there's something that happened and the husband and wife are married, for example, then the system will force them to separate.
Yeah.
And we don't know why that. I mean, I never understood why at first, because if it's just a report made against them, but it's unfounded, there's no proof to it.
Yeah, because if you don't separate, they'll take your kids.
But they take the kids anyways.
They take kids anyway, right?
They do.
They're just lying to you. They're just trying to destroy your family first before they finish it off.
Yeah, they take the kids anyways, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter. That's why I don't understand. But at first,
and it gives you blame forever, because you'll sit there and then now you got, the rate of divorce after people go through CPS cases and they lose their kid is astronomical. I mean, I think the last number is like 88% of couples split up after a CPS investigation, somewhere along those lines. Don't quote that one exact, but I know it's right up around there. And it's because, they sit there and they say these things. They say, oh, well, you didn't leave your husband. So we told you if you leave your husband that you would get your kids back. Well, how are you ever going to even argue that was really going to happen? You can't because you don't know what was in the chips down there. So a lot of couples now get into these arguments. Well, I stayed with you. So, it's because of you that we don't have our kid. And it still is just as damning as it is when they took this. I mean, the effects of what they do and their investigations, how they do things, what they do to people is lifelong. Like whether it's a day or a year or however long, like they destroy people. There is nothing good that is coming out of how they are treating parents and children and grandparents and uncles and aunts. They are not doing anything causing heartache and filling their pockets. That's the reality of this, and it's just out of control. And until someone does something about this, until, it's going to take a severe person of stature that loses their kids to something. And then they're going to come out and say, oh, Lord Almighty, let's go. Because there's plenty of medium level stars. I'll call them all stars on the level that I see these people that are out here every day stumping and fighting against CPS, like Miss G and Davis and all these guys. They deserve to be up there just like Trump or anybody else. But these guys are fighting a certain cause that everybody else in this country turn their eyes to and say, well, it's not my kids, so I'm not going to get involved in it. And it's even if it's just a little bit or a lot bit, it doesn't matter. No one is paying attention. These people are literally taking children and paying people to take the children from you. They're taking your children, stealing, and then paying foster parents to take your kids. The last I knew, that's kind of slavery-ish, if you will. We can't buy and sell humans in the United States, but that's what's happening, and no one sees it this way. Everybody immediately thinks that a person that got investigated by CPS is a complete imbecile. They must be a crackhead. They must have murdered someone. They did something so atrocious that the state took their kids, never looking at who's on the other end of the looking glass. Because who's drug testing these caseworkers? I bet you they're all riddled with Adderall and cocaine because they're so overworked. They're so overworked that, there's no way they can work 10,000 hours because that's what they're going to say about us, right? Well, you work 50 hours a week. How do you do that? Must be on drugs. Drug tests. Seriously. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's crazy. People just let this go by, and it's like, whatever. It's not my kid. Well, when they come into your home, and then it's not so like ha ha ha. It's not so those people are schmucks because now you're the schmuck, and you're saying,
Yep.
how did this happen? Before it's over, you're like, how? You know what? You don't even fight in the court system. You're like, there's no way. There's no freaking way that they can do this. And you walk out of there with tears in your eyes and no child because they just did it.
Okay, I want to ask a question about marijuana though in Texas. I know it's illegal, but
Mm.
if you have a doctor's permission,
Mm.
which a lot of people called me on that, they had doctor
That's
prescription,
new.
I
That's
guess,
evolved in the last year.
but they still take people's kids though,
Yes, they
even
do.
with
They do. They do. But then if you talk to somebody in Texas, like they'll tell you that we don't take kids for marijuana. Yes, they do.
they're liars. Oh my God. That's
Yes,
why
they
the
do.
American people are delusional. And the American people are so delusional. They think that the system works. Not all of them, of course. The ones that
See,
dealt
I
with it,
came from the
they know it's
system. I was
broken.
in foster care from the time I was 7 years old. And it took me, I am 38 years old, and it took me until I was 36 to actually get enough therapy from what I went through in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
I
There
just
you
now
go.
was able to heal that. So half the things that maybe I did make bad decisions on were because I was like in foster care. When I was in foster care, was in Idaho. There's different levels. If you're a bad kid, they get more for you.
Of
There's
course,
levels.
yeah, different programs and things
Payment.
like that.
What?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So once I
Mhm.
figured that out, I started being real bad and started letting people know, hey, get your foster care license and I'm gonna check.
What
So that I
Mhm.
the?
could run the streets and do what I wanted to do as a very
Yep.
young girl. And they let it happen.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me right
Good
now?
for
So
you.
the worst kid you are, the more money they
Yes.
give?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
because you're
Oh,
supposed to be
oh,
in all these programs and you're supposed to be doing all of
oh,
these
oh, oh.
things.
Right.
Right.
Okay, I got it, got it. That's the program
Yep.
we're talking
Right.
about.
And she
Okay.
can go. She can go out and pretty much sell herself to a foster home that will let her do whatever she wants. They'll sit there and sign
Which is
away
what
saying
I
she
did.
wants.
And then I started
Right.
learning, at 14, I started getting men.
But who can
Men.
hold you? Why would anybody even say that you shouldn't have done that? Like you were a little kid stripped away from your family,
Mhm.
put into a raw situation that you had to figure out how to come out and evolve from. And if
Mhm.
that's what it took, because I'm sure you didn't have that mindset when you were 7,
No,
that's not what you were thinking
But
at
how
all.
old were you when you went to foster care, though?
7.
I was 7.
And what was the reason?
My mom had manic depressive bipolar, and she did the lithium and the electrocution therapy, which progressed her to have schizophrenia, which is now called schizoaffective. And my mom went. My mom
What
went
did you
insane.
have to do?
Huh?
What did your mom do again?
She did lithium therapy with electrocution shock therapy.
What's the lithium therapy like?
Lithium is a
That's
medicine, but then they combined it with shock therapy in the early 2000s. They would do
mm,
they would do electrocution therapy. And so my
yep,
mom went from manic depressive bipolar to full blown schizophrenic, and she was never the same.
right.
So she went to court and told the court that she didn't want me, and lived the rest of her life in a mental institution until she died.
So they used your mother as a guinea pig.
Yes,
Oh, of course.
So
It's all
I
in
was
the
a great
plan.
target. They knew
Unfortunately, it's all
I
in
was a
the
good
plan.
target. CPS,
it's
Yep.
yeah.
all in the plan. It's all planned. I'm telling you, it's all in the plan. And of course, they took you, put you in an abusive home. I'm
Oh,
sure.
me neither. I had never stayed in a home longer than like 2 months. And back
Did
then
they
they had a lot of group homes.
The group homes are bad also.
Hmm.
But I was told that a lot of foster parents they get children and use them as maids, meaning they
Well, I
have their
wasn't
own
used as
children, but
maid.
they use the children that they get from the system to take out the trash, to do the laundry, to do the dishes, to iron. They teach them to iron. They teach them all kinds of stuff, while the other kids are living their lives, and the foster
Mhm.
kids are the ones doing all the work.
Look at
See,
the
I was
story of
more in
Cinderella.
sex
Yeah.
grades, where foster parents knew that I was kind of older and more mature because of things I've been through. So I dated a lot of older men that like had drugs for my foster parents, or
Mhm.
men that could, give me money to take care of me, buy me things I need. So I started dating a lot of older men, and it
Mhm.
wasn't frowned upon, of course.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and that's why I
Right.
wasn't used as a maid. I was just kind of used for
Yeah, but you were paying your way. You offered them that money, like you said when you went
Oh
there.
yeah,
You're like,
because I do.
yeah,
I
I
knew
can do
that way
this.
I could be
I can get
free and
this
I could
right.
run the streets. I didn't want to be because
Correct.
every time you would disagree with them, they put you in a mental place. Then
Hmm.
it takes them like 3 or 4 days to realize you're not crazy and to let you out.
Right. Right. So here, this is what the foster system evolves people into doing. Like she literally had to learn how to wheel and deal and be a
How to sell
hustler.
myself.
Right. How to sell herself to live a decent life that she felt fit living, trying to this and these reports are over and over and over and over, and yet this system is getting worse and worse and worse and more aggressive. You would think that this was beginning to lax, but you're looking at more and more and more children are getting that we're way overworked. How is the state of Maine the number one? This is cracking me up. I'm from Maine, right?
Mm.
Number one, the number one state in this country for abuse and neglect of children. 2 times the national average, they say. So that means the national average is 9.83 kids out of every 1,000 is abused or neglected. This here, they're saying in the state of Maine, there's 20 out of every 1,000. That's what they're saying about this. And I can go on and on about this. I find it's crazy. It's absolutely disgusting. It's a lie. But this is what they're doing. They're pumping these numbers. They're pumping these numbers because the money isn't going to stop. This Title IV funding stuff pays for the salaries of a lot of these people that are
Yeah,
working.
the
Going to their
therapists,
budgets. It's
yeah,
crazy.
therapists, teachers,
Mm-hmm.
law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
social workers. Yeah, yeah. All the money's going to them.
But where's your counseling? Where's the money? Where's the money to help you get better from what they did to you? Where's
It's
that?
my problem now because I'm 18. I'm an adult. It's my problem now.
Right. Of course, because you were fine, right? Perfect. 18, we're out of here.
Right.
Where are they? Where are they when they bring the kids home? When the kids are reunited with their families, which I don't even know how many of those happen to.
No
Because
one's
every person
there.
I talk to, nobody gets reunification.
No
Nobody.
one.
So even when they do that, where are they to pay for the counseling to help these families get back together and to do these things? Where are they to pay for the broken? They're nowhere to be found. So they're home wreckers that are allowed to come in, destroy the home, take everything apart, tear it apart, destroy a good family, destroy family values, destroy all this stuff, and say, hey, you're 18. Pff, none of our business anymore. And walk away.
And that's exactly what they do.
That's sickening.
18, you got to get out. You can't be in the foster home. That's your last day. You're prepped a week before.
Yeah. It's sick. It's freaking sick.
Because they already used them.
Mm-hmm.
They're
They
done.
use them, and that's why they don't need them anymore. But if they're their own flesh and blood, guess what? You can never get rid of your own kids, even if they're 20 in
Yeah.
your home or 21. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I wouldn't. Would you guys? I mean, I wouldn't.
No.
It's disgusting. It's
Well,
absolutely.
in the Egyptian culture, actually, the both male and female remain in the parents' home until they get married.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, that's the Egyptian culture. We don't say you're 18 now, get the heck out of here. No, we don't do that.
Look, I'm
But I
Puerto
think
Rican
in
and white.
America
It's
you
like
have
that for
until
us
age
too.
18 to be able to leave, but that's your choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the child's choice, right?
Yeah.
From my understanding, at age 18.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
mean,
right? Or,
I guess it's their choice. They can, but
yeah,
I mean, as a parent, I would never. I mean, until my kids are going to college and stuff. Why would I want to kick them out and make their life harder? You know what I mean, or put them in possible situations to make bad choices? Like I would never just put my children out unless they came to be like, hey, I think I'm going to get married, or maybe I want to backpack the country, or I want to go to school here in this country or there. That's different.
that's
But
different, right?
yeah, and I always thought maybe I was like that because I was always so disposable, like get out, that I'm like, I'll always be here. It doesn't matter how bad it is. We can always figure it out. You know what I mean? And just
But
Yeah,
maybe
isn't
you're
that
not
in the isn't
disposable.
that in the Latino culture as well? Like, yeah.
yeah, I'm Puerto Rican and white, and my sister is Mexican and white, and my son's family is from the Caribbean.
Okay, so wow, he must be handsome, Zach. He has all the
Yes,
beautiful races in him, in his blood. Oh my God,
yes,
that's crazy. And the culture, and you're
yeah.
beautiful too, Brittany. You're
Thank
beautiful.
you,
Yeah, you're
thank you.
not disposable, so don't ever say that about yourself. You're
Don't
definitely
yeah, don't. They
Thank you.
want you to think that way.
not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not.
I was programmed for a long time. I always felt like I used to call myself like I was a filler. Like I was just kind of here to buffer and make other people's life easier while I went through
Mm-hmm.
hell. Like that's literally how, you start thinking like it
Yeah.
must be my purpose. Like I
Mm-hmm.
got to endure all this pain so I can help everybody else.
I got involved. I got involved with a gentleman just recently, and he went in when he was 9, and he spent that 9 years getting back to the family that kicked him out, or not really kicked him out. CPS took him from. He spent
Yeah.
9 years on the streets, bouncing around from foster home to foster home, trying to get back. And then he got back to the same family, and he's reunited with his dad and his mom. And but those 9 years, that's what he spent his time just trying to survive. Getting into fights. You say that a lot of the foster homes he went to, like, they would get into like the family foster kids, not the foster kids, the family's children would do something, or like steal something and then blame it on the kid, or
Yeah.
they'd come in the bedroom and do nasty things to him while he's sleeping, but if he defended himself, it's like, oh, I told you those kids were bad, and back
Yep.
out he would go and onto the streets. So finally, I don't remember what age he said, but 12 or 13, he was on the streets himself. He just bounced out, and they just kind of lost him, like after so long they stopped looking for him, and he just ran the gauntlet until he got to back home when he was 18 and found his family.
That's
Like,
crazy because you're like describing my son right now. Until I had him, he started running, doing the same thing, trying to survive until he could get back to me.
But did you guys read that comment that Shay put though? Said that they insisted my teenage son with a rare seizure condition needed to be on
psychotropic meds.
meds over his seizure meds. The minute he turned 18, he was cured.
Yep, fine.
It's not cured. I mean, it is. He never had it. He never had it. He never had it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When those insurances run out, it's amazing how good you know.
Yep. And the thing is, if the mother refuses drugs on a child now, so if the doctor says the child needs to be whatever, right? And the mom says, no, the child is only 5. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You're giving the child really bad narcotics. And that doctor now calls it the reports it to CPS. CPS now goes and removes the child because the mother objects to medication.
Mm-hmm.
My mother never gave us medicine when we were sick growing up. Mm-hmm. My grandmother, she was over 100. When my uncle went to bury her in Egypt, they found out that underneath her bed was all the medication that prescribed to her, and then not once did she use it.
Oh, wow.
So she only healed herself with remedies.
Like, isn't it normal for 5-year-olds, even all the way up to 10, to be hyper? Isn't this normal?
Yes.
Isn't it normal for kids to not know how to regulate their feelings? That's what we're supposed to teach them, right? Instead of putting them on skills.
It's normal. That's why, my dad nicknamed me. Well, he had the nickname for me. Ota means kitten. But when I am like your son, active,
mm-hmm.
which was all the time. So they called me monkey because I was doing flips. I was roller skating. I was doing hopscotch. I was doing, I was literally very active.
Mm-hmm.
Then my dad put me into sports. So my mom and dad put me into sports. So you know what I mean? But then the older I got, the more calmer I got.
Mm-hmm.
So kids do go through that. But what doctors do to make the pharmaceutical money, a lot of money, is they diagnose children with things that's not true.
With ADHD at 5 years old. That's not
give them some Ritalin. Throw them some Ritalin so they can get addicted to cocaine and meth and everything. Once they're out of 18, once they become 18, we'll get them off of that stuff. They can hit the streets. They can get on a meth habit. So then we can get them back in drug and jails. We'll get the money that way. And then they're going to be so poor and broke once they get out of jail and they're older. They're going to end up in a nursing home, and we'll get the rest of the money for the rest of their life.
And if they have children, right? If they have children, they're going to take those children. So they're using people. The American people are being used, and that's why I said they're delusional. They're delusional, and I get angry because they have no idea that innocent people lose their children. It's not the ones who are like, if you have a cartel, right?
You're gonna go lose your kids.
They're not gonna touch him.
Nope.
No, they're scared to death of that cartel
because they. I don't want them. I don't want YouTube to suspend this show, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. But it's all and they're all it's
Yeah, I understand.
yeah. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I want to say it, but I can't say it.
No.
Because it's proven. It's proven. It's proven. Literally, it's proven. That's why the doors were open, and anyone can walk through those doors because they're welcoming the crowd to be involved with the county. Get it? So that way they get what they want. It's all money. It's all a money strategy, like a strategy business for them.
Mm-hmm.
So the American people are being used, and then the other side, the rich ones, they look down at us people thinking that we are bad parents. Does that make you guys understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say it
Yeah,
without
I get.
actually
You're
saying
doing a
it.
nice job. You're doing it very eloquently without getting
Yes.
us noticed here. That's good.
Good. I'm glad I'm
Mhm.
learning. I'm learning.
Good.
I'm learning to
You are
be.
doing a nice job with your cussing.
Yeah, I'm not cussing
Haven't
anymore.
spoken just head on with you in a while, so yeah, you're doing a good
Oh
job with
my
that.
god, I used to cuss them like every second of every day.
I
I
have
It's like
that
used to
problem.
sitting
wish
around
bad
pirate.
things on them. Oh my god. I used to wish bad things on them. Like I used to wish like, and I would have like not nightmares. I call them beautiful dreams because I would dream like, like lightning strike the building, or without any kids in it, but just all of them. All the all of them in a building. Lightning struck. Building is gone, and I wake up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish this really happens. Like because they're so evil. They're just so
Yeah.
evil the way they steal a child and smile at you when you're crying. I can't do that. How you smile at a parent? My dad one time cried. First time I saw my father cry was when my mother died. And I died inside, meaning just to see my dad's tears, right? I died inside. I swear I died. My heart sunk to my knees. So when they smile and laugh at mothers who are weeping for their children, that just like, and then they belittle the father, meaning they make the father less uh of a man.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even humble him, they break him,
Yeah.
and then they laugh at them. I've seen it. I looked at
I've
it.
seen it in my own trial. I
Yeah, I've
watched it.
seen it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why your son is not safe. No child is safe in America. I swear I'm not joking. You guys, a lot of people I'm sure they're going to celebrate 4th of July. I told Darren and a lot of people I never do anymore.
I fly my flag upside down. The only reason I do this is because I know YouTube would do this, but no way, not anymore.
No,
That
I
means
don't.
that means nothing towards the troops in this country, because you know what? Those troops did not fight so that CPS could kidnap children. And I wish people in the military, because they're doing this to military
Oh
kids a lot.
yes. Well,
A
Yeah.
yes,
lot of those families that are
veterans.
being
Yep.
deployed. So I wish our United States military would join us in this fight for the anti-CPS stuff, because
Well, the United
yeah,
States military can
we
only do
support
so
these
much.
guys. We support them 100%. They shouldn't have to worry about their children when they're gone off fighting for our freedoms. That should
But
be the last thing that they need to worry about.
a
We
lot
should
of
be taking
military
care of them.
members, Darren, they don't believe the system is broken
I know that.
unless it happens to them. And then
Mhm.
that's you guys. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was
Yeah. See, thanks, Suzanne.
a veteran that the social worker went to his house. His daughter was 9 years old at the time, and he's in a wheelchair. He lost both his legs in
Yeah.
Iraq, and the social worker looked down at him, and the child was 9 years old at the time. Meaning she wasn't even really a child. She was taller than her mom.
Yeah, she was take care of her dad.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because the neighbor reported that the dad fell off the wheelchair, that possessed the social worker to go and remove his 9-year-old.
And then belittled the guy on
Yep,
his front porch and
make
everything.
fun of
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
The fact that he's crippled.
Mm-hmm.
And he was crippled because he was protecting our country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think veterans are up there with how bad we're treated by CPS. The veterans is I'm ashamed. I can say, I guess, of our country when it comes to veterans and how we've taken care of the people who take care of us. It's
Yeah. Even Shay agrees. No child is safe.
no, yeah.
She said, I'm 100% right. No child is safe. I don't know if you guys watched the news recently. I don't remember. Was it a congressman or senator? I can't remember. He said he's lived in California all his
I just
life.
saw that today. I just saw
Oh,
that.
did you see it? Okay, yeah. He said he lived in California all his life, and he's telling people to leave. To
Yeah.
leave. Leave the United States.
Mhm.
Leave the United States
He said
because
after he
no one
finishes
is safe.
legislation, he's out of there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no one is safe. That came from a man. Was he a senator or a I can't remember.
I don't remember. I just saw. I just saw it a little while ago because there's a
Yeah,
bunch of them on TikTok from
yeah.
saying
He
that.
said to leave.
They're talking
It's
about it on Quora. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And people are literally just thread after thread about people who are leaving the United States that are under attack by CPS. Like they're dipping, they're taking off, they're leaving, they're gone.
oh
Like,
no
and
no
it's just
no
thread
people
after thread.
no not just that. I have three of my friends. We went to school together. Three. They packed. They left like they sold everything.
Anyway,
Took their kids and their wives, and they moved out of the country.
yeah.
One is in Dubai. The other one is in oh my god, it's an island. Ba- 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 Bailey, Bali.
Bali?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And another one went to Italy. So basically, they don't want to be here.
Yeah,
After they watched my shows and me and them, of course, know each other, they left. They gone.
yeah.
They don't think it's safe either. It's not safe.
Yeah, I know, but nobody likes America. Look at everything we've done. I don't know if we're safe over
and
there either.
you see this? Is it? I think it's Shay saying that. Thank you very much for your sacrifice of your husband. That's huge.
I
And
am
every
a
person
gospel
for
widow, and
everybody's
my
watching this,
husband
they should
died for
definitely
it.
thank you for that. That's you.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. So
Mhm.
thank you
Hey,
very much.
wow, that is so sad. That is so sad. And they're treating the American people like they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't exist. Like we are literally their guinea pigs. So
Man, right
when
there,
we're
that
all
man lost
gone,
his life. Right.
who are they gonna practice on then?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, right? Who are they gonna practice on? The ones that fleed the borders? Is that why they're bringing them?
Mm,
And that's why
very
they're
true.
taking their children, their babies, telling them, "Oh, come in, come in." And then all of a sudden they're fighting for their children and they don't speak English? So,
Yeah. All the
but
kids that go
they're
missing.
letting them think they're helping them? Bravo, America. Bravo.
Yeah. Right.
Such a wonderful job.
Hmm.
God, I used to love 4th of July, I swear.
It's such a different country when you start seeing all of this crap.
Yeah.
You don't see anything the same anymore.
But it wasn't like that when I was a little girl, though. I
it
mean, I
wasn't even
came
like
to
this
America
10
in
years ago, I don't think.
1979. It wasn't like this.
Well, I was never in the system, so I don't know. I mean, for Brittany,
You were not
she's
born
been
yet.
involved in this. Right. I grew up with a great family. Well, my mom left when I was
It's
younger,
been like this.
but we got through all of that with a divorce and, all of that, but it was nothing like what these guys go through. Like this is just crazy. So I don't know, but like ever since I've been involved in this stuff, the world doesn't look the same. It's an unhappy place. Like there's no smiles, there's nobody, everybody's just, I don't know.
Dark.
You don't see it the
It
same. It's very
started a
dark.
long time ago. Like Paul Harvey, I read to you guys what he
Right.
says on his radio show, 1965.
Mhm.
That was before I was born, obviously. But
For like
they
a week.
planned this a long time ago. They planned it. It's a plan. It's a plan. Meaning alcohol, right? Marijuana. Remember the
Mhm.
hippies days?
Mm. They
That's what
targeted the
started.
hippies.
They made it hippie. They made it okay. right? So they would get high, then they go after their family. But we didn't hear about it because it wasn't as big as now. It wasn't as big as now.
Even when I was in foster care, it was a lot more group homes still than actual foster parents. People were still starting to really catch on that you could get a foster child and get money. It was still, and we're talking about like 1999, 2000. It wasn't. Now it's foster parents everywhere. Before they just stick you in like a girl's home.
Right.
But do you know why?
Isolation.
Because there's nowhere to put you.
But do you know why?
They're not put you in groups. You're stronger.
There is a judge.
We were a few times.
But listen to this, guys. There's a judge that is part of the foster homes. He's literally connected to, meaning he speaks. He's a spokesman for them or something like that. And he was saying on social media, he was telling people to go to their neighbors and influence them to become foster parents because they're looking for more foster parents, right? Because with more foster parents, they're going to make more money. And what the foster parents don't understand, if they have children of their own, and they're going to come after those children too, because they're going to tell the foster parent, oh, you know what, you didn't do that right, we got a report, somebody reported such and such. They take their own children and the children they have placed in their home.
Yes.
So it's a trap, it's a setup, because we have a lot of cases like that.
Yeah, they'll literally tell them things like that. Like, if you let this happen, then we're taking your kids.
Yep.
There you go.
They rule by fear. It's crazy.
So they want to control the whole population.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. And then they tell lies about to the foster parents about the mother or the father. There was a person that called me today. She's in Texas, by the way. Her name is Lori. She's going to be on the show. And her son was in a relationship with a woman that had a child from another man. And the daughter said that the father, who's not hers, he's her stepdad, that he touched her private part. And the grandmother, Lori, she swore up and down that her son didn't do it. But I know that is true because, and I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but oftentimes children are influenced to say stuff like that to get rid of someone.
And it's very freely thrown around nowadays.
Yes, yes. And when they did evaluate her, they didn't see any sign of anything like that.
No abuse.
And she changes her mind. So basically, when a child changes their mind, that means they're being coached. Right? They're being coached. So they put an innocent man in jail without even proving, without any proof that he actually did that to her. Right?
Yeah.
Again, it's a hard topic to understand because you want to believe your child, but then who told the child to say those things, right? So you have to, it's kind of like you don't know. You really don't know.
But that's what they need to figure out, because the person that taught the child to say these things is the one that needs to be dealt with.
It starts all the way at the top.
It starts all the way at the top at a house.
1600
that's painted white with white
pillars,
fences around it. That's where it starts. I'm being honest with you. That's where it starts. And if you guys look at the news now, it's very apparent.
Yeah.
And they're covering up for that person. Literally covering up. The whole media is covering up for him. So there's a lot of things people don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
And no matter what, if the truth is right in front of them, like a snake, right? They still deny it. Still deny it. And when you have a pedophile ruling, you're going to have pedophiles implementing. And that's just the way it is. Because if you're a ruler, you rule for the people, you protect the people, because those are the people are paying your salary.
Yeah, we don't have a ruler here. We're supposed to have, we are the people. We're the ones that are in charge. We are the people, people. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah, that's true. We are. You know why I forget that? Because I don't feel it. I
Right.
mean, I don't see it, so I don't remember it. I honestly don't see that we have rights.
Mm-hmm.
There is no freedom of speech, because if I
Yeah, we're
speak,
not as free.
YouTube suspends me. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like I'm trying. Like, how is that freedom of speech? Though, get it? How? How are you a man talking about God? How is he arrested? But then the ones who are mocking God and tearing out Bible pages on the street and do pole dances
Are allowed to have a
the
permit.
cross is not arrested.
Right.
You mean to tell me you're going to put my Jesus in an actor who's gay on a cross, and another gay man wearing heels is pole dancing on Jesus?
Hmm.
I mean, putting his pee with the other pee.
No.
I mean, it doesn't make
Stop it.
sense. And then, but it's okay. They were not arrested. This is okay. So the behavior is okay. But if a Christian says, hey, why you guys all of a sudden are doing this, attacking us? We didn't care about you to begin with. But you're coming at us, and now the Christians are being what? Arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're teaching our children in schools that it's okay to have a sex change operation without the consent of your mom or dad. So, what rights do we have? Where are the people? I see protesting the other day. It was not for the people. What was the protest about, Darren? It was the
Yes.
writers. The writers. The
The Writers Guild.
Yeah,
Mm.
they were protesting. It was pretty big. But I was like, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that for our children? Because the rest of Americans are brainwashed. That's
Mhm.
why. They're brainwashed to think we're the bad ones.
If we
But they're
protest like
coming out.
that, we'll go to jail because they
They
think
did
that we're
not.
the bad ones. We're crazy. And
Well, before we get put on YouTube jail or Davis jail, I think we should wrap this one up. We're at our 101.59 mark.
Hey, so, yeah, the end of the show. Wrap it up,
Yeah.
please. I
So
love
I'll
you,
help you out with
Grace.
that.
Yeah,
I'm scared of
we're gonna
Davis.
wrap it up. All right, guys. Thank you so
thank
much.
you guys so
You
much for
guys,
your guys'
we'll see you
insight.
tomorrow morning, right? We'll
Yes,
continue this.
sir.
Now you can ask your question. Ask it anything you want to ask.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right.
Bye
Good
bye.
night. Thank y'all.